Hello everyone, this is Blankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. I was checking everything this morning, and I like the way everything looks. Aside from one minor touch that I want to make with just how far out the side bang here is spreading. But other than that, I think everything looks great, which means that it's time to go in and start cleaning everything up. And finally fix up all those crunchy spots that have been bothering me for so long. So, very exciting. I won't have to look at them for very much longer. So I'm just going to go ahead and line how much this is fanning out with the left turn. Yeah, and that looks about right now. Okay. So now this is where I go in and just start fixing like all these little squiggly parts. Make all of those look nice and do the same for the bottom turn and the left turn again. And that will finish off this lower left turn and all the corrections that I want to make to line it up with the left and the bottom turn. So just a little bit left here. So, very exciting. I think I am finally approaching the end of the head turns. This is why I told myself at the very beginning that we'll see how much body movement I want to do here. Because I don't think I'm going to want to do that much. I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I've been working on this for a pretty long time. And it's okay. I do think it was absolutely the correct decision to put all of the effort that I could into the head. Most of this actually doesn't look too bad. There's just some spots here and there, and I'm sure that as I keep going, I'll find some more. It's because sometimes it feels like my brain just wants to look for these things. But it's alright. This is comparatively very easy compared to just getting it all in place and the things that I've been doing for the past few days. Plus, I'm feeling less sick by the day, so that's making life even easier. Wouldn't say I have a sore throat, but still definitely a little bit phlegmy. Probably makes my voice sound a little bit funny still. And I am hoping that within the next week, that my voice will just be completely back to normal and I can do all the things that I'm used to being able to do with it. Lately, I've been struggling a little bit with the stuff that I want to make for Christmas presents this year. And have a really pretty idea. I really like it. It's absolutely wonderful, and now that I'm approaching the end, I still really like it. I still think it looks great. In fact, it looks even better at this point because I'm almost done. The problem is that I've been having to go through and render this very pretty garden. And there's so many flowers. And they're close enough to the camera itself that can't really get away with just drawing blobs of color. So I'm just having to go through and render a whole bunch of flowers, and oh man, I'm suffering a little bit. See, when they say suffer for your art, this is what they mean. They mean rendering an entire field of flowers, not, you know, foregoing money or worldly pleasures for your art. No. It's that art is hard. And, so I've been having a bit of a time with that. Oh, it's so pretty, though. I really like it, and I'm really looking forward to Christmas just so I can finally post it. I don't want to post any progress shots of this one because the person I'm making it for, I know occasionally watches my VODs, so I do not want there to be any spoilers out there on the internet until it is Christmas. But yeah, I've been having to use, I don't know, just very specific techniques to make sure that I get it all done. And I don't even mean drawing techniques. Like, the drawing technique is easy. I've got everything drawn, I just have to clean it up and make it look pretty. Much like I'm doing here. But no, it's, I guess I could call it motivational techniques of... Eventually, after drawing flowers for long enough, I just start going a little bit insane. And so I'm like, okay, I need to draw a certain amount in order to finish this on time. And I don't think I've hit that threshold yet, but I swear I will start beating my head against the wall if I have to draw another flower right now. So at that point, I just start rendering something else. I had some extra time this morning because my husband wanted to go to bed early. So I started rendering some flowers, reached that threshold where I just could not do it anymore. And rather than stopping, I just did the hair instead. And that was a little bit more manageable. Hair is another one of those things that I often have to break up. But in this case it was fine because I had been working on something else for long enough that I didn't feel like I was going crazy rendering hair. And so I was able to make a lot more progress than I would have otherwise if I just kept forcing myself to render the flowers. Rendering the flowers probably made a little bit more sense because they do cover a very small portion of the hair. But I had enough of them finished that it wouldn't waste much time if I ended up covering the hair a little bit. So I'm gonna keep doing that, where I start my drawing sessions by doing a few flowers, and once I am dying on the inside, I switch to something else. This way I can get my picture done and it will still contain all the elements that I want it to have. I can have my pretty flower garden. It'll be wonderful. And I think this will probably be the last painting I don't have a proper recording of. I might occasionally still draw stuff without recording myself, but honestly, after recording 0, it just wasn't as scary as my brain was making it out to be. So I will probably record most of the things that I draw off stream now. I won't force myself to, but I don't really think I have to force myself to. It's fine. Totally fine. I don't know, just one of those things. When I first started, I had a little bit of performance anxiety, I think. It's probably a good term for it, but after doing it a few times, it was totally okay. The same thing happened with streaming, so I wasn't too worried. I knew I just had to do it. And a fan art is, I think, a perfect thing to practice with. Because fan art is just as much drawn for other fans as it is for myself, so might as well show off what it took to make it too. So when I get into drawing some more original characters or whatever else I happen to feel like drawing, I might talk about them. Just embrace the cringe all the way and talk about my OCs. Even though I am not 15. Hold on, give me a moment. Got a little cough. There we go. I don't have a sore throat today, but like I said, still a bit phlegmy. I'm getting over whatever I had. So it'll probably be a few days before I go back to normal. Was just zooming out for a moment there to see if there's anything I missed, and I felt like that strand wasn't quite aligned. Okay. Going down these strands is going to be really scary, so I'm going to do that later. I'm going to go to the top of her head first. just go ahead and leave that for future me when I feel like breaking down what I need to do there. Sometimes with those daunting tasks, I find it easier to do them when everything else is looking a little bit better. Because once everything else is looking good, it's like, yes. Everything is looking lovely. I can handle the scary parts now. And then there's other times, like with the flowers that I'm describing, that I'm just like, okay, no, they have to get done, like, right now, or otherwise I'm never gonna do it. So I will start my drawing session with them when I'm feeling fresh and energized, and switch off to when I needed a little break. How I approach it really depends on what I'm doing and how it makes me feel. But honestly, I feel like as long as I get everything done, it doesn't matter. The order I draw things in matters to an extent, especially with... well, no, it's with any medium, it's just a little different with digital. Because with digital, I can afford to do all the stuff in the foreground first. And that way, I know that when I draw the things behind it, I know which areas I can ignore or not make as detailed, because I know which areas will be covered up by the foreground, and that's true as I get further and further back. So I tend to just kind of sketch out the things further back well enough for me to know how the composition is going to look, and then I do stuff in the foreground before I do stuff further back. I think over here actually looks all pretty okay. Don't think there's anything crunching there. Maybe need to fix this highlight a little bit. Yeah, let's fix that highlight a little bit. I think I mentioned before about some art advice I heard, where this particular artist recommended changing up your process with at least one part of your process with every picture. And, so from the perspective he was coming with, is that a lot of people do a sketch, then line art, then base colors, then shading, and all that stuff. And his suggestion was just to change up something in that process. And then I look at how I work, and I'm just like, man, I have no fixed process. The closest thing I have is, okay, we figure out composition, where I want to put the elements, the basic colors I want to use, how I want the lighting to be, and then I do whatever the heck I want. Oh no, there is a step 2. There is a step 2. Yes. The step 2 is, figure out, the quickest way for me to, make the picture something that I like to look at. So first I have to like looking at it. That's my step 2. So figure out, composition, lighting, and just the general gist of the picture. Flail for a while, then get it to the point where I actually like looking at it. That's step 2. That's very important. And then I do whatever I want. After that, nothing is set in stone. I just move around. I kind of look forward to drawing another thing on stream again, just so I can talk about how complete nonsense it all is. This is another reason I like digital. I feel like watching traditional painters. I have watched some, and I'm just like, man, you gotta plan way more than I do. It's like, man, I remember in the gift that I'm working on, where I mentioned that there's a flower garden. My original conception of it, there was an ocean. And I was like, okay, we're gonna be like on the edge of this high cliff, and there's gonna be lots of foliage and trees, and the character is gonna be pulling you back and showing you this pretty sunset over the ocean. It's gonna be great. And then I'm gonna draw some flowers and stuff. And it just looked better with less water and more foliage. And eventually the water just disappeared entirely. That happens sometimes. And unless I absolutely need the ocean there for whatever reason, you know, I just roll with it. It's okay, it's not an ocean picture anymore. And that's okay. See, for a while I was thinking about looking at art jobs and stuff. Or maybe I could use some of these skills that I'd been building. And then I'm just like, am I going to be able to wrangle this well enough to actually do that? But I don't know, I see a lot of, like, scenery concept painters, for example, that are just as chaotic. I've seen some of their time lapses, and their process is pretty chaotic too, so I'd probably do fine. But, there is a bit of anxiety there. Alright, just going back and forth up this strand for a bit. Because I do want to get it nice and straight, and yeah, no more crunchies. Perfect. Is it in the right place? Because I did move it around just a little bit there, so I want to make sure that it's all lined up still. Not quite, but I think it will be once I fix up this one on the left head turn, so I'll go ahead and do that now, just to make sure that I am correct. Because if I am wrong, then I should fix that immediately. Yeah, and looping it out this way a little bit I think looks pretty nice. We'll check it against the center just to make sure. But so far I think this looks pretty good. I am zoomed in to like 700%, so no guarantees that that is correct here, but nah, it should be fine. See, it's funny, when I'm drawing, I never zoom in this close. Like, when I go into 200%, I feel like I'm, like, super duper close. And most of the time I'm out at, like... Well, it depends on the size of the picture, but, generally I see the entire picture. So normally that'd be somewhere between 20% to 50%. Unless I have a really, really big one. I don't normally paint on canvases quite that large anymore. Alright, I think I still want to touch up the bottom right here. But otherwise, let me see, does it squiggle like that? No, it does not squiggle like that. That is a bad squiggle then. Try to work out that little squiggly part. Looks like I'm gonna have to go a little bit higher up the strand to get it all out of there. It is not cooperating with me. Very rude of it here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, there we go. Is that good? Nah, teeny tiny squiggle, but that's good. I don't think I even see the squiggle all the way out here. Yeah. Yep, we're good. Okay, and then the part that's not lining up is further down. And I'm still scared, so I'm gonna stay up here where it's a little bit safer and worry about this strand. This little guy needs to curve. Needs to curl on out here. I have to be careful because I don't want things to be hitting this line too hard. Because when vertices overlap the lines like that, it kind of makes things mess up. Let me see, how do I describe how it messes up? Got a quick cough, let me clear my throat here. Still just get all stuffed up so quickly. But, yes. When you approach a line like that, it condenses the pixels in the art here, pushes them really, really close together. So sometimes you'll get like solid lines that look a little strange. And that's the best way I could think of to describe it. It just it looks very wrong. Very, very wrong. So I'm careful not to overlap them too much. But I do want it to curve just a little bit there. It's a decent curve. Let's see if I can make it just a little bit better here. We'll see how much I can get. I'm trying to avoid moving stuff up here too much because I remember taking a lot of time yesterday to get that looking right. So it tells me I probably have it pretty close to how I want it to be. Yep, moved it too far. Alas. Okay, let's... Okay, we'll put it back there. How's that? So I actually have it squiggling a little bit. Well, it's like it looked good on the left. I didn't even notice that it was squiggling a little bit. So that tells me I can probably get away with a little bit of squiggle here too. Although, honestly, I kind of prefer the way it is on the left, or the lower left. Maybe not right there, though. Yes. Looks like I might have... Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, cool. I was worried that that was looking weird because I had the vertex too close to the line. But no, it's just I need to floof out this part of the bang. Floof. Make it nice and round. It should also give me a little bit more space to handle that little strand of hair there too. So this is where I'm like, there were a few more decisions that have to be made. In cleaning versus rigging versus cleaning with drawing. Because with drawing, I feel like once I get to this point, virtually all the decisions are made. It's just brain dead, make the line smooth. Make the color pretty. And that's it. Whereas here, I still kind of have to move some things around. Stuff is still happening. I can't get too complacent. I mean, strictly speaking, I can't get too complacent with drawing either, but it's a lot easier. Rendering stage is basically being home free. Unless I'm rendering flowers, I guess. Because most of the time I just leave them super messy, and then final rendering stage, I go through like 3 different steps of getting them to look right. Okay. Looking good. I don't actually see too much crunchiness. We'll have to mess with those strands. Strand from hell and the side bangs. I'm still very scared. I do see a little bit that I have to work out the tips of the bangs. Which, like I said, I will do a little bit later. Let's continue with the main part of her hair still. And get this guy in the side. He's been looking super wrinkly for so long. Gotta iron all that out. So Infinity Nikki's first patch is coming out, and with that, a new banner is coming out as well. And man, they have a nice kind of American vintage look, and it's very nice. I always love those kinds of things. Has the nice fluffy kind of scarf, and more of a shawl than a scarf, but shaped like a scarf, worn like a shawl. And I am looking forward to it. I'm curious to see what kind of features they add to the game in the future. Because I admit, I was mostly in it for the photo mode. Being able to just go around and take pretty pictures sounded like a good time. And it has been a good time. I need to post some more pictures. I do like taking pictures in that game. It's funny because I recently got one of the pretty dresses that I was looking forward to getting. The water-based one on the permanent banner. And I really like it. But I haven't really been able to make anything I like with it because I don't have anything that matches well with it yet. So I was a little bit sad. The super poofy dress that you get from clearing the shop, I was able to do something I liked with by turning it into something that looked a little bit more casual. But I could not really do the same thing with, you know, pretty water-themed ball gown. Can't really turn that casual. So I'll have to wait until I get more stuff. So I prefer putting my own compositions together rather than just wearing the set on its own. That has just always been a personal taste of mine within these dress-up games. So for me, the entire point is just making something pretty with the pieces that you have. Like, if I wanted to look at pretty graphics, there's plenty of other games I can play for that. This is very much about creating my own thing. That's why I enjoy little creative games like that. My daughter's actually put together a few outfits too. It was very cute. She was wanting to do one yesterday, and she started with a blue dress until I asked her if she wanted a different hair, and she's like, no, I like the pink, because Nikki's default hair is pink. And so I showed her all my pink stuff, and Nikki became very, very pink. And she was happy. I should take some pictures of the couple of outfits she's put together. They're very cute. Exactly the kind of thing that you'd expect a 5-year-old to put together. Honestly, overall, I think it'd be pretty okay if she did not want to get into, like, super interested in fashion or anything. But I do like seeing her just create stuff. Lately she's been wanting to build, like, big towers. We have a cat tree at our house from when we had cats. And, it is now a kid tree. They like to climb it. But, the younger one, he's still 2, so he's still too little to climb on his own. And the older one is capable of jumping from the top onto the floor just fine. So she likes to just put a whole bunch of pillows underneath the cat tree there and jump onto them. So she's been building just these huge towers of pillows and pillow forts and various things like that. And that is also very fun to see. I help her sometimes. And then sometimes her brother will come and knock them over and she gets sad. She'll start yelling at him and say that she doesn't love him anymore. And he does not care. It's just so funny. Little kids are hilarious. Although sometimes when she starts getting upset like that, he'll just go over and give her a hug. Because he is, for a 2-year-old, very sweet and conscientious, but he is too. He is too, and still the type to knock things over and go heh heh heh. Alright, well, I think I've worked out most of the low-hanging fruit here, so it's probably about time to get to some of the scary parts. That didn't take too long at all. But I think before I go into the scary parts, I'm gonna go ahead and check the other angles and make sure that I have everything working out there the way I want it to be. So let's make sure there's no crunchy spots on the left here. Right here's a little bit crunchy. I figured that there'd be a spot or two. Yeah, there we go. Just kind of smooth out the edges here. Make sure that this black part at the center looks nice too. Just get all the things looking nice and smooth. Here we go. And then it looks like the hair here needs to be brought in just a little bit there too. And Shalom's hair is so pretty. I'm just looking at all the nice colors and all the pleasant shapes. The artist did a really good job. I really like the art in this game. That's why I wanted to make something with it. It's like it's one thing to draw fan art in my own style, and it's another thing entirely to actually take the art from the game and kind of transform it into something else. That's been pretty fun. I'm glad I did it. Wanted to check the front view of this part of the hair again. Just because I remembered that this part is kind of oddly blobby compared to the rest of her hair. So I wanted to double check the level of blobbiness and how much that this was off. There we go. I don't remember properly correcting it in the lower left turn too, so I should do that. Just completely forgot about it. See, like I said, my process extremely chaotic. I tend to forget about little parts all the time. But then I go look at things and I operate in an order of what is bothering me the most right now. And eventually, whatever part that I forget to do will come and be the part that is bothering me most right now. So, eventually, I finish everything. And I don't leave anyone behind. Every part gets the attention it needs. Unless I decide I just really don't want to draw it anymore, in which case I might throw my hands up in the air and blur it. That does happen sometimes. I try to use my blurs more deliberately than that, but it does happen sometimes. Though something similar happens in some of my speed paints, like the one that I did of Rahu for this week. I actually do not much care for her hand. When I was doing the pose myself, I noticed that my hand was kind of coming towards me. So I kind of had her fingers going toward the back, but I think I would have been much stronger if I had them going toward the side so you could actually see the shape of the fingers better. But I was running out of time, so I didn't really have time to fix it. But it was one of those things where if it wasn't a 2-hour speed paint, I would have redrawn that entire hand. And sometimes with speed paints, you just kinda gotta do the best you can. And ultimately, that's okay. That just kinda comes to the territory with speed paints. They have their own advantages and their own disadvantages, and that is one such disadvantage. The time limit, as you might imagine. Time limit means you gotta leave some stuff behind sometimes. Alright, gonna fix up the bank here on the bottom view. I think it's mostly fine. I'm just kind of touching up the edges here because I did move some things around while I was messing with this. So just a matter of making everything nice again. It wasn't quite as crunchy and blobby as my lower left view. That just had stuff all over the place that needed to be fixed up. But here's not so bad. Just little touches here and there. Okay, there we go. I think that's better. Let me clear my throat again, just a moment. Alright, I do feel like most of this is still pretty clean, and I didn't move things that much. Let me take a good look around here. Yeah, it looks like I still do have a few things to fix down here. I guess since I see them, I'll go take care of it. Just need to get everything moving the same amount, and then it's mostly just the highlights and then a couple of areas that kind of got stretched when I was pulling things around. Oh, yeah. And then there's a little squiggle here. Probably don't want to leave that little squiggle there. There we go. Round that back out the way it's supposed to be. Much better. Okay, how's it doing now? Alright, and then on this side, this little strand kind of connecting here needs to come a little bit further down. Yeah, that's a bit better. And I still feel like some of the vertices up here are being pulled, so I'll go ahead and touch those up too. Just pull things downward just a little bit here. Don't want the vertices feeling like they're being stretched out. And then at the bottom, I think I want the highlight to go a little bit further down, and then there's like this weird little shadow coming out there. He needs to be a little bit further down too. Just gonna pull all of this just a little bit further down. Get everything moving together. Okay, and then I want to do something similar over here with this little guy. Because I feel like some parts of these highlights are moving further down than others. And it looks a little bit weird. They all need to move down together. As a group. A little bit too much on this side over here. So I'll go ahead and pull this back up just a little bit there. There we go. Okay, now I just need to move that strand into place. Didn't really touch the strands very much when working on this before. But I knew that I was going to have to move them around somewhat. Well, that's fine. They're pretty easy to move. See? No trouble at all. No trouble at all. Keep mixing up which order my two layers are there. I keep wanting this one to be on top and this one to be on bottom, but it's the other way around. Just one of those things that kind of worked out that way. Okay, there we go. Is that all of the random crunchy things I want to fix up on this turn? At least until it is time to go and add the strands back in. I think so. Alright, let's look over here. Is there anything I need to fix up over here? Nope, I think things are looking pretty good. Hooray. Okay, so this means we have scary stuff. Oh boy. Alright. I'm gonna start with the scariest thing. Might as well. I doubt I'll finish this mess today, but here we go. Let's just jump right in. Okay, so the bangs here are made up of 2 layers. The side bang here, I should say. It's made up of 2 layers, and figuring out which needs to be adjusted is always an adventure. It is the first step. So the first thing I want to make sure of is that this highlight that goes up next to this strand coming down is in the right place. I do feel like that is the most important thing right now. accidentally double-clicked on it. The program is helping me out by jumping over to where it was, but it zoomed out a little bit. Yeah, I kind of knew that I was going to have to move some of this just a little, just to make sure that these highlights underneath, that's supposed to be underneath this layer here, could eventually line up. Right now they don't. That's okay, I'll fix that in a moment. I just kind of want to get it all in the right place here. I was perhaps not as particular about its location as I should have been. Because indeed, where that highlight starts is actually quite important. I think I want a smaller brush for this. Here we are. So I'm kind of using this line to help me line it up too. I also want to check. Does this look good? Yeah, that looks okay. Okay, so I can afford to line it up with the left head turn. So if it looks good relative to the left head turn, everything should be fine. I will trust in that. In that case... Okay, I have to go a little bit higher. I need to figure out how it covers her eye here. Because I can see that I was kind of forcing it a little bit here. But that is the first area that needs to be cleaned up. And with that cleaned, then I should be able to figure out more of this strand. Solve all of its mysteries. Figure out why all these vertices got pushed so far up. Holy cow. They're just all clumped together up there now. That doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right at all. Alright, spaced them out a little bit there. Hopefully that helps. I must have really been pushing this around the brush quite a lot in order to get that kind of effect. Okay, I'm gonna worry about this inner edge here. I always remember that the inner edge of her side bangs here are much straighter than I always think they should be. Super, super straight, and then they just curl out at the very bottom. Let's just push all these in a little bit here. Hopefully make the line a little bit less blurry. Not ready to make the tips look nice yet, but this is just a quick and easy thing that I can do so it won't bother me quite as much. Alright, how are we doing? A little bit better. We're doing a little bit better. Everything squirming just a little bit right through here. Probably from the mass vertex migration that just happened. Oh, so was it that much finer further up? Fascinating. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. I was just noticing that the vertices further up her bangs there were much closer together, and yeah, that is just how I meshed it. I suppose that is fine. I was just a little surprised. I guess that's the thing with manual meshing instead of auto meshing. I just have not had good luck with the auto mesh personally. I've seen some people being able to wrangle it, but I am not one of those people. So I just end up with little oddities like that. But that's fine. I can work with little oddities like that. It's all good. Alright, I think I'm gonna try to run the outer edge down real quick. Get that nice and straight. And I think that's where I will end for today. Definitely starting to feel better. It's really nice. Being sick is the worst. Makes my brain work at like a snail's pace and just feeling achy and terrible. But it's all getting better from here. So hopefully within the next week I'll be feeling better. Be feeling a little bit more like myself. Be able to do things again. Yesterday I was able to keep up with my kids, so that's how I know things are getting better. Going up and down the stairs didn't just wreck everything. Okay. Still really want to get that line all lined up. It's taken a little bit longer than I thought it would. I thought it would be fairly straightforward. Maybe it'd be easier if I hid some of the hair behind it. Just so this way I can really see what I'm doing here. Okay. Not messing around anymore. Gonna go and make this side bang nice and straight. Okay, there we go. Now it's all becoming nice and straight the way I want it. There we go. Now I can afford to let it curl down there, as it should. And hopefully that is fine. Not quite. There's one last spot right there. But I am determined to get it right. Okay, there we go. Now I think we're good. Yeah, nice and straight going through there. Okay, let's turn the hidden layers back on. Main right there, and a thick lump right there. Perfect. And I'll finish up that strand tomorrow and all the other ones that need to be done. The other side bang and the strand from hell. So we'll see if it decides to cooperate with me this time. Oh yeah, and I guess I probably should touch up those too, and the tips of the bangs, and there might be a few things to do tomorrow. But I will do them. I'll have a good time doing it. So, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on the social media platform of your choice, and I'll take a look. Maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.